2022 or a new DP. The fans await, the excitement grows. Can't wait to see who Roto chose. Green smoke, oh boy, who could it be? Maybe a huge 22 or a new DP. The fans await, the excitement grows. Can't wait to see who Roto chose. Green smoke. Oh boy, who could it be? Maybe a U22 or a new DP. The fans await, the excitement grows. Can't wait to see who Roto chose.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another, well, I shouldn't say another, it is the first emergency Green Smoke live stream of the off season. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E. Sitting here on a Tuesday, finally getting the Green Smoke we expected here. Jon Bell, the newest addition to Austin FC. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm excited, man. I'm a year older, a year wiser now, so I can look at this with some new perspective. We talked about this a little bit for 2-3 weeks now, and I think both of us came to the consensus that we think it's a good fit. We know we needed to replace Julio, and you want to get into the mechanisms as to how he's going to fit on this roster, and that might boost the grade for this signing here. I know it's not the big splash that everyone is really pining for right now.
Yeah, but they not the time yet.
They can't all be big splashes. They just can't all be giant big signings. So I'm excited about this. I think it's a solid depth piece. We'll get into it a little more, but I'm ready to roll. Good to see the homies in here. Shout out Devo, man.
I say, speaking of the homies, I saw Devo in there. So we got double Michaud action in the stream here today. I see both Crignolas in here. You see Mike, you see Steph, and Steph saying happy Julio replacement day. RIP. See Ari's in here saying poor Steph, the leader of the Julio Cascante fan club. Our boy P Mike in here. Saw Gmo. I see Ben as well. FYI, the songs still slap at 1.2x. First time hearing it at 1x. Let's see. Yeah, Mike says same thing. Wild to hear at 1x speed. Good to see Carlos in here as well. Mike, one half of the North End Pirates. I'm representing on the stream today.
Hey,
Mike, Merry Christmas to you as well. One here, right? Green Smoke live stream, Ian. And one topic of conversation almost anytime a non-DP or U22 comes in, the conversation somewhere turns to really, this guy got Green Smoke? I'm of the mind, dude, that every signing should have Green Smoke, just so we don't have to delineate and don't make anybody feel bad. That's just my take on it.
Gives us something to do.
Yeah, exactly. Especially here during the MLS free agency period of the offseason, right? That international window doesn't open till the end of January, if I recall correctly. So, you think about on Sunday's episode, we talked about the dates or the big events from last offseason, right? And everything started stacking up really in January. So you want those big, exciting, potential splash TAM level signings. I think they probably come in a few weeks here. But let's talk about Jon Bell, because this is not nothing to me. And I think it was a good point by you that not everybody can be that splash signing. You have to fill out the roster. And I think we'll get into some theories here. We're going to have to cover ourselves legally, I think, at some point here with the Reckless Speculation song. So let's just jump in here to the press release, right? And so the first thing that sticks out to me from the press release is that Austin FC announced today the club signed free agent defender Jon Bell as its first edition of the 25-26 offseason. Bell, who's 28 years old, joins the Verde Black on a deal guaranteed through June 2028 with an option for the 28-29 season. And what stuck out to me about that is the first time I have seen really in writing something related to our favorite team where it's oh yeah, schedule change. Like we've got that bridge
Yeah.
year now when we have referred to these MLS seasons. So that stuck out to me a little bit, and got me thinking. Kind of two-pronged here. Are we going to start seeing some 6-month extensions to the majority of these contracts that go through that schedule change? And I got to figure out how to notate all that shit on the spreadsheets at the northendpodcast.com because we're incongruent now. So I guess your thoughts on the contract length there, because this is not nothing, right? This is a 3+1 potentially, or 2.5 technically, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. And like you talked about those 6-month extension kind of things. I still need to see what that's going to look like. I don't know if anyone has more insight into that and like how that's going to work with these contracts and how they're going to play out. But 28 years old here, and you get this duration of this contract, and I don't hate it, man. I really don't. Like he comes from a really sound organization, obviously with the Sounders. Nice little play on words there, but we have, if you go look at the spreadsheets and everything, we have these guys built out, several players into that time frame with this team. But obviously, this being the first edition after the schedule change does make me perk up a little bit. And again, this is a guy that I've liked when I've seen Seattle play. I know he doesn't just pop off the screen, but I'm a fan, man.
Yeah, for sure. And we see it, right? You see ours and you're saying, let's keep it real, fellas. How whelmed are we with this signing? And I think like maybe something to just uncover over the next 15, 20 minutes as we talk about it. Again, it's not some slam dunk. We're not sitting here saying that Jon Bell's going to be a game changer, but I think for the role he's filling, it makes a lot of sense. And I have a very clear line of delineation that we'll get into after we talk a little bit more about his bio. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, you're good. I think whelmed is a good way to say it. But like, if we're looking at who he's replacing, sorry, Steph, I think this is an upgrade. I do.
So should I take community input on which player becomes my whole personality?
Hey, you're a free agent. We got plenty of room in the B-Roo fan club.
Yeah.
Also has an attractive wife. So like, there you go. So like we can do that. But I think whelmed is a good way to put it. And I did mention on a couple episodes before when we've, had some green smoke live streams and everything and looked at some of these guys coming in, obviously watching their highlight tapes and get all excited and all up in arms about how great this is going to be. But again, I think when you look at it from who he's going to replace and the versatility that he does have, being able to play some left back as well as the center back position, it's not a huge upgrade. Again, it's not a game changing player, but I do think it's an upgrade at that position. And for a franchise that's really struggled with center back continuity, I'm feeling great about that center back room right now with our defenders there.
Yeah. Well, just to jump back to Steph's comment there, look, if you do want to jump on that B-Roo train, he is the closest field player typically to the Croniolas there in the southwest corner when we're defending the south end. So just, putting my 2 cents out there as well. We're always trying to grow the B-Roo fan club here in the north end. So, of course, we get the relatively canned quotes in the press release. Bell said, "I'm thrilled to join Austin FC and can't wait to experience Q2 Stadium. As a member of the home team, I'm already looking forward to the start of preseason and beginning my next chapter of my career." And then Rodo chimes in later on saying Jon is a versatile defender who's familiar with MLS and capable of playing in different positions on the back line. He's a good addition to our defensive group, and we welcome him to Austin. So the big highlight here, if you scroll down, or this is the highlight for the sickos, I think, Bell will occupy senior and domestic designations on the Austin FC roster. And I want to put a pin in that because I want to talk about that later. I want to talk about Jon Bell's bio. We've had so long between the first iteration of this rumor from Nico Moreno to the actual green smoke here today, which gives me time to do entirely too much digging into little notes and factoids about our newest players. So just some quick stuff on his bio. Going even back before he was a collegiate player at the NCAA level, Bell spent 5 years, 2011 to 2016, in the DC United Academy. And he also spent some time with the youth national team at the U20 level. I couldn't find if that was just like the ID camps and stuff, like some of the stuff you've maybe seen Micah Burton participating in this past calendar year, or if he got actual caps with the youth team, but he was at least on that radar. And then at UMBC as a 4-year player. And the hoops heads. You hear UMBC, you start thinking about the biggest upset of all time. 56 games for, I believe, the Bears there in UMBC. 56 games across his 4 seasons, 1 goal, 8 assists. And I did want to shout out our buddy Tim Thompson, the stat man, who linked in a chat to a piece that was about Bell. It looked like it was like the UMBC alumni publication. And so from that link, Bell said, or in that interview, he said his favorite moment as an MLS player so far was playing in the Club World Cup last summer. Being able to play against Atletico, PSG, Botafogo, he said, quote, "It showed me how far persistence and confidence can take you." And man, again, reading through all of this, I have a couple other quotes or high points that I wanted to touch on from that. But I'm instantly a fan of Jon Bell, just like the little bit of digging that I've been able to do.
I mean, I was going to bring that up, and I know that they lost all 3 of those games, and I think he got a half versus Botafogo, 90 versus Atletico, and 70-something versus PSG, I believe. Yeah. And obviously he didn't do a ton in those games, but I do think that was a good learning experience, a good growing experience. We might be digging to the bottom of the barrel here trying to find some positives from those games, but like,
they didn't get
what
trounced.
He said there.
They could
exactly.
They
competed in those matchups, and he got plenty of time. And I know that was probably because they were rotated. They had so many guys suspended last year, like just consistently. That back line was beat up, suspended, or anything like that. But I do like those quotes because I was looking at those 3 games as kind of like an inflection point where it's like, this is something you can grow from. So it looks like he took it that way, and that's great.
He also said his favorite memory at UMBC, and I do a shout out to our buddy Turbo Trevor, our resident Louisville City fan here, the UMBC Retrievers.
There we go.
Not the Bears. Same mascot as that new USM&T one. I thought he was saying there was a new North Texas mascot. I was like, the Mean Green, no more. Anyways, Jon Bell said that his favorite memory at the collegiate level was preseason. And he said it was because the soccer teams get to campus before everyone else, which reminds me of Christmas break for collegiate hoopers, right? When we're the only ones that stay and you're just hooping all day. Practice, home, rest, maybe a 2-a-day, games, tournaments, all that stuff. So that just jogged my collegiate athlete memory. And for our buddy Guillermo, if you want to get even more bricked up, Gmo, he's a Liverpool fan. So I guess you can go get your Jon Bell jersey next year. So getting into the MLS ranks here, he was selected 38th overall in the 2020 Super Draft by the San Jose Earthquakes. Of course, that's a 2nd-round pick. He spent that fall preseason in 2020 with the Quakes, but then in December, his rights were traded to New England, and he was signed by their 2nd team, which at the time was a USL League One side, signed by their 2nd team in July 2020, but it didn't take long for him to get picked up by the 1st team. March 2021, he signed a 1st-team contract with the Revs, and while he was in New England, 818 minutes across 9 starts and 12 appearances for the Shield-winning Revs in 2021. So again, I think you see the theme as we go throughout his young career here, that this is a guy who has been a part of some really high-level winning cultures. The next season, of course, a little bit of a dip for the Revs. Got over the 1,000-minute mark in 2022, 10 starts, 15 appearances. Totaled across his 1,800 minutes and some change, 2 goals and 2 assists with the Revs. And this is important for my theory later. 63.5 was his salary in 21, 84K in 2022. He was then one of St. Louis City's 5 expansion draft picks before the 2023 season, and never really caught on with St. Louis. Only 2 starts and 3 total appearances, 142 minutes. And going back through that team, you look at some of the names that, as we sit here in 2025, maybe not that impressive. Tim Parker was, I think, their captain. He was locked into one of those spots. Kyle Hebert, Lucas Bartlett, who I think is on the trade block right now at a DC United. Those were the only 2 center backs ahead of Bell on the depth chart. Although, Joakim Nielsen did play, I think, about double the minutes, maybe a little bit more. So, he just never caught on with St. Louis, but he was on $88,200 rather in 2023. Option not picked up. Re-entry draft selection. Actually, the only other pick. That's how you should say that in the English language. Next to Hodder Obrian in the 2023 re-entry draft. And so obviously things really pick up for him. in a Sounders uniform. So he signed that deal for a 2024 guarantee with the 25 option. In 2024, 487 minutes, 5 starts, 10 appearances, 1 goal. And then this year, this was the big jump, right? 1,327 minutes, 13 starts across 21 appearances, won the Leagues Cup, and was on 135K and a senior spot with Seattle last season. But we already talked about 2 or 3 weeks ago on an episode when we first started talking about Bell that you look at their roster build, he's not on the supplemental for them because they actually have homegrown players who like play all the time and they need those slots for those younger players. So a lot of notes there, a lot of stats thrown at you, but this is a guy, right? He's an MLS journeyman, but again, being involved at like even in the St. Louis year where he barely played, that was the 1 seed. He's been a part of some very good teams.
True. And I want to jump back to the St. Louis thing because when we first picked up this rumor, listening to some Seattle podcast or something, right?
Yeah,
I can't
Nico
remember
Moreno,
exactly, but he talked about his experience in St. Louis and how he was frustrated and how he felt like he got, the raw end of that deal there. And then going to the reentry draft process, get picked up by Seattle. Obviously, he talked about a successful organization and found his footing there. And I think that says something again about the type of person he is, the character that he has, because wasn't salty about it, went out there and worked, earned minutes on a very good Seattle team, and has continued to get better as we've seen. These contracts have moved up. He's increased his playing time. So like that's a good trajectory you want to see. And again, I'm not touting this dude as coming in here and changing the entire look of Austin FC for this upcoming season. But when we look at how this back line has looked routinely, we've had holes, man. And I feel like now we talked about like Djordjevic, feeling really great about him. Sfati, feeling really great about that as well. You add in Jon Bell here. And I think we talked about it maybe 2-3 weeks ago, but the implication of us playing that 5-back a little bit more and having 3 true center backs in there instead of pushing Guilherme into a center back position and then starting Komanich at the left back spot. So I do think that Jon Bell fills that role. And I do think we're going to see, whether you like it or not, that 5-back a bit more. I think, Nico's track record, we know he's a bit more of a conservative offensive approach type of manager. And you look at that 5-back, and I think we had success with it, something we pulled out on some certain stops and was able to find points with.
Well, Mike Cragnola kind of touching on some similar thoughts there in the comments, saying that he's expecting Jon Bell to either one, compete with Heinzike for minutes alongside Alexander Svatak, or maybe play starters level minutes in a 3-back system, which again, I think I'm 100% on board with. Jon Bell is going to compete for starters minutes. I think regardless, if you're in that 4-back, right, with just the 2 center backs, I think it's, of course, it's much tougher if you take 90 potential minutes away from the center backs. But if it's that 3-back, man, I think he will be, at the very least, pushing Mateja Djordjevic. I would hope, as, roster build guy, that Djordjevic is able to take that potential 3rd slot, or maybe even Djordjevic is the one stealing minutes in a 2 center back setup. But again, I think this is a guy that very much and we can pull up his stats here from FB Ref, or actually I have this pulled. Here's just right. Not a very impressive, I don't know what you call this, the little radial chart there. I think spider chart maybe is what you call this. But look, man, Jon Bell also 2 caps for the Jamaican national team. And we know that at least one of those was at Q2. So it's not just with the Sounders that Bell has played in his new digs. And then I think this is also when you go to the comparison tool here, when you have the extension on FB Ref, you can pull up something like this where you look at the, we'll call it the radial chart here, between Julio Cascante and Jon Bell. And these guys, not too dissimilar statistically over the last calendar year. And this is something I really like to see, that the stats are matching up with what we think the role that Jon Bell is being signed to fill is. It matches up pretty well in the chart here.
And then when you take into account, he's surely not coming in at $750,000. That adds to this for me, because again, this is the replacement here. So we don't have the exact figures on this, right? We're not going to get that for
we won't
salary cap Christmas.
Yeah, but we'll know when we're getting into the theory. We gotta pump the brakes.
Okay. You're building this theory up big time here. But he's not going to be.
It's all I have right now on this signing, dude.
He's not going to be $750,000 of that much, I am sure.
So checking in on the chat once more. You see our buddy Richard in here saying, love the savings. Hey. We'll see if it's an upgrade. And I think Steph was offered CJ fan club. She said, no, thanks for the offer, though. She does love Biru, sweet, spicy pit bull. And like, look, I don't know how to say, I know like hero is how I would say the Cranola's pit bull's name, but like, is it Hiru? Is it Hiru Biru? I don't know, but Mike's saying our dog's nickname was Hiru Biru before we even signed our left back, so it's destiny. So I don't know. Then maybe they can help us with the pronunciation there.
This is the Wemby parallel here in Austin FC with your dog.
Guillerme is the chosen one, I guess. The Trefoil in here, good to see you. Says can't wait for next season. Welcome to the 512 Jon Bell. Richard saying, I'm a bit worried Jamaica might make World Cup 26 and he'll be MIA this summer. Rich, you got to remember, brother, we are on break during the World Cup. So we won't have to get hit with all those absences for any of our guys that could potentially be playing in the big tournament. Guillermo extra excited that Jon Bell is a Liverpool fan. And you see Tim also, the stat man, good to see Tim. He says there will be center back minutes to fill next year because that is another piece of news that dropped this morning. Austin FC confirmed in the Leagues Cup next year. So, we are adding additional competitions to the slate next season.
Yeah, and any sort of competition at the position, I think, is good in my book. Like, you got to want to push these guys a little bit better. We've seen up and down minutes last year from BHI. Svatok, we know, obviously, the defensive prowess that he has is fantastic. He's a little shaky on the ball, So, like, pushing these guys to get a little bit better, I think, is good for the team health in general. And again, will this be a huge upgrade over Julio's Conte? I don't know. But I do know that he's not hitting the books at $750,000 and hamstringing us elsewhere, using up TAM to go ahead and have a third or fourth center back. He is going to compete for minutes. Something that I talked about recently was the need for some more competent depth on this position. You see the other external tournaments that we're going to be in this year. You're going to have to find guys who can go out there and play in those games. And we want to look good in those games. You know what I mean? Every time we lose in those competitions, the world's on fucking fire. But like these guys also aren't that important. Like, come on, we got to find some sort of middle ground here. So, and again, I like the trajectory that he's been on with his career. He has worked his way up from every level. And again, I think, the St. Louis thing was a bit of an outlier because if you're not playing for that team and then you jump immediately to Seattle and you start earning minutes, I think that says something about you as a player and that organization as St. Louis, that is.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. All right, time to hit the button.
Rumors, whispers, made up trades, consequences we never weighed. Logic's thin, the mic is hot. Let's pretend this means a lot. Taking shots from way downtown, hoping no one writes it down. Hot takes flying without hesitation. It's time for some reckless speculation.
All right. Let's come all the way back around, to the roster designation here. So at the northendpodcast.com right now on the roster sheets, we got to go with what the team has, and that is Jon Bell on a senior slot. So as things stand, Austin has 2 open senior slots, 4 available supplemental slots. And look, man, that is not enough slots to get 2 TAM guys and a U22. So there is going to be, this is, again, I'm protected by the song.
Correct.
I am recklessly speculating. There will be movement from that senior roster. It could just be a buyout of a Hodder O'Brien or the like, right? We've talked about that plenty on the show. But I think Jon Bell will end up being supplemental. And let me explain why. We've talked about how Diego Rubio was moved onto the supplemental very, very sneaky-like last season, right? There was an October 24th contract extension, no mention of a change from his previous senior roster designation to a supplemental. And then the roster profiles get released by the league in late February. Boom, he's on the supplemental roster. The team did not tell us. So a little bit different here. the team is telling us that Jon Bell has signed and is on a senior roster slot, but I read off his past salary cap hits, right? Sub 84K with New England, 88.2 with St. Louis, then up to 135 on that option year last year with Seattle. But as long as he's below 226K and some change, you can still, by rule, buy him down to that 113. I think it's 113.4 is the senior minimum this year. That would put him on a supplemental slot. And I don't think you probably can't announce that a Jon Bell is going on the supplemental roster with the salary cap hit above 113.4 before you actually apply the GAM. And I don't think you get the new GAM coffers until January 1st. I'm pretty sure that's when like the new league year technically starts for the allocation money. Maybe I'm just, misremembering or completely pulling that out of my ass, but I really think that he's still going to end up supplemental. And if he doesn't, man, I got to say it, then I'm not happy with this signing. Again, like where we're at today. Mm-hmm. Because pending some other transfers or buyouts or what have you, or it could be Ilie that came down to 226, what have you. But like Ilie making less than Jon Bell, I don't think so. Yeah. So I am still very hopeful, I guess is the most accurate word I can put here, but I think there's some credence to that theory.
I'm with you there. I do think that there's some credence to that. What would you give this as a grade if he's on the senior? C?
Yeah, on paper, man. I think it's a C
minus.
Yeah. Okay. And I think it's a B plus, potentially A minus if he's on supplemental.
Yeah, and depending on how he looks, I'm fine with that for sure. I'm with you. I do think there's going to be some movement from the senior roster to get the supplemental roster filled out. And as you mentioned, where he came from, they had dudes in Seattle who were routine starters, night in and night out for that. Not just starters, big time contributors that have come up through the ranks. They're homegrown kids, and you just don't have room for Jon Bell in that situation. We do. And again, all the mechanisms are in place for 2 TAM signings, or at least one. I'm not going to go on record and guarantee that we're going to go ahead and make a big giant TAM signing that's going to really set the fan base on fire here.
Hold on.
Did we just do it?
I mean, look, my holy shit might be a little too soon here, but let's we are Austin TV retweeting this. I am not familiar with this Polish reporter, 196,000 followers. Again, followers don't always guarantee, but this is translated from Polish. It says, New Ekstraklasa. I need Hudson in here to give me my Polish pronunciations. Osman Bukari is set to become Zvidu Lod's new player. The 27-year-old will break the Ekstraklasa transfer record. Widzew is paying 5 million euros for him. Bukari was in Poland just a few days ago. In strict secrecy, he underwent medical tests, signed a contract with the club. Only the final formalities remain on the American side, but that's a matter of the next 1 to 2 days at most.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude. And I think I'm with Ari's 100% on here. If this rumor is true, we're selling the wrong DP.
Absolutely. It's not even remotely. Holy shit. That's absolutely the wrong. That would be my last choice, honestly, of the 3 DPs that we could have gotten rid of. Oh my God. Fuck me, dude. No way.
Yeah. Also, 5 million euros. What's the fucking conversion rate on that, dude?
Dude, what?
So it'd be 5.87 million. So you'd take a loss on him if that's the actual number.
Why?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be something about him wanting to leave, right? That's got to be an aspect of it.
I mean, potentially, for sure. But come on, dude.
Good to see our buddy Jarrett in here. Tommy Scoops follows that reporter, by the way. Hope you're doing
good.
Well, Jarrett. Good to see you in here, buddy.
Good research there, Jarrett.
Yeah, P Mike start another stream. I mean, goddamn, man.
If this is true, I'm pissed, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, like the final verdict is always what happens after, right? When we see what comes in. So like, dude, I mean, if you signed fucking, I don't know, Antoine Griezmann, like then you would be happy.
Well, I mean, you're
But
pandering now.
right, no, but I'm just saying, like anything is possible. I mean, fuck, man. If you can,
Go ahead.
if you can move Buka, can you not like if you're willing to take a loss on Osman, can we take a loss on Mirtu and just fucking scrap it and go back to the drawing board?
Especially if one of the theories is why this happened was he's not happy here.
Yeah.
The most, not the most upset, one of the short list people who were not super thrilled to be here, and it looked that way pretty early on, was Mirtu. This is, how much did we pay for him? 7, 8?
7 and change, I think. I think
Jesus
we can find that
Christ,
on like,
man.
we go like Osman.
In strict secrecy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was 7 flat euros though, so it was 7 and change.
Yeah.
USD.
So you take almost a $2 million loss on this.
Yeah.
And like, if you look at the way we spent, so like, right, you're saying, what happens after this? If you look at the way we spent last year, you take a $2 million loss on this. I don't know how much money you have to work with. Like, yeah.
Well, it depends. I mean, we just got the new ownership coming in, right? A couple new members of that ownership team. That is a cash infusion. And one thing that cannot really be argued is that Anthony Precourt and the ownership group want to spend. They want to win, right? We saw that last year. There's been no better example than the 30+ million that they splashed over the last 18 months.
Exactly.
And
but like,
I would also, right. I would also welcome them admitting, hey, that shit didn't work. And at the top end, right? With the 3DPs, BV injury or not, which factored in, you can do better. And so Ben saying here, convo pivot, what could make this a good thing? What DP signing would make a potential Buka exit a Rodolfo Borrell win? And Ben saying, I presume a true 10 right there. What level would satisfy? He mentions Kevin De Bruyne, and like I think De Bruyne just signed with Napoli or something 6 months ago or something like that.
Napoli,
but I think to me it is like, especially looking around the league and the name value of these guys just in the last year, right? It's not just about Messi. It's the guys who have followed. In Giroud, even though that didn't work out, that's a huge name. Lloris, Thomas Muller, right? We could keep going through that. And there's no better time to fucking come good on a names you didn't believe. I don't even know what to call that. You fucked up when you said that. We've said that before because you didn't follow through with any names we couldn't believe. You brought in some names we didn't know. Like again, we love Buka. But man, this is, and like I also see other folks saying, Trevor in here saying maybe the 5-back is here to stay. And it's tough. You're not playing with 2 wingers when you have the wing backs flying up the sidelines. But I also like the Dessler to Buka is one of the best things we got.
It's like the best thing we've got, dude. Thing. Like that. But I was just about to bring up how shit we look when he doesn't play. And I know his stats don't jump off the table. Like, I think six career goals. Okay. Is that going to work though?
There's a name.
Yeah.
we'll take Mo Salah.
Is that, I'm like,
yeah, I think I agree with Hudson here, right? If you're willing to take that hit by selling Buka for 5 and change, there's got to be something big in the works where you have to clear the space.
Okay, that could just be some confirmation bias. I don't know, dude. Facts, dude. Like,
Profe, why do you look so sad in your profile picture, dude?
Because of just what just happened. This is ridiculous. I'm pissed about this, man. This is,
and
again, from the standpoint of like the standpoint of what I was talking about with Buka before, like even just I know this isn't the main thing, but the entertainment value and watching this dude up close was fucking incredible.
Yeah,
awesome to see, man. And like he 50 caps for Austin, right? He comes in after we sell house. He's in the rebuild. That team is absolute dog shit. Didn't get a fair shot. Obviously, Josh gets fired after that season. We move in with a conservative, offensively approached, offensively minded manager. And okay, again, there's just an infinite amount of names to potentially go through as this is the guy who's replacing him. But again, like you said, we spent $30 million last year. You take a $2 million loss here. How much more money is available for this stuff?
Yeah.
We don't know. It's one thing to be aggressive and being like, yes, we're willing to spend, but unless you're generating a shit ton of cash, man.
I mean, they got 10 back for Seba.
Yeah, but you spent what on Mirtu? You spent 11, 9?
12, 2 or 12-3, I think, for the release clause. Yeah.
And who would you rather have?
Well, yeah, no, I know that. Of course.
So we paid $2 million for a guy you'd rather have less than fuck.
And again, you can move anybody, especially if you're willing to take the loss. So, Ari's saying, man, the stream took a turn to the sad / negative fast. Well, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be negative. But of the 3 DPs, this is the one. And I think you said 2 months ago, right when the season ended, after the playoff loss, you were like, if Buka moves, I'm pissed. And it looks like you're like, this is your nightmare.
I'm pissed. Hey, it was the least one I wanted to see be moved, and also the one we got the least amount of money for, in my opinion. You could have got more money for either of these other two guys, and they play the same fucking position. So I guess maybe the 5 back with two 9s.
For the audio listeners listening back, Steph says, watching E break in real time is amazing. And Mike says, this is cinema. And then Steph says, I'm doing a great job trying to hold it together. Look, we're not done yet. Until we hit end stream, there's still a chance. Man, we'll close it out with some more Jon Bell.
I was going to welcome Steph to the Buka fan club too.
Yeah, shit.
Kiss the death immediately.
Because he's coming towards them on the other side.
Come on, dude.
Fuck, man.
I mean, again, the only guy who can take the top off the defense for us, generate chances, how excited we were.
He has the second most gravity of any field player we've ever had outside of Seba. Instant double teams, sometimes triple teams.
And we talked about, a couple weeks ago being potentially feeling excited if we could have got one of those distributors to get this dude. You can get him 10 chances one-on-one with the keeper if you just know how to pass the ball. Oh my goodness. This is terrible.
I mean, look, I would like to, for Christmas, gift Moon Tower their curse back. Because 2 straight episodes, big Austin news dropped within 12 hours. I think the Jon Bell signing from Nico this Sunday was literally 45 minutes after. But goddamn, man, if this would have broke 5 minutes after we ended the stream,
we would have to gone back on for sure.
Yeah, I'd have to.
Did. Well,
either that or I'm just quitting. We shut the podcast down. Come on, man. Stop selling our favorite players.
Oh my God, dude. Beer's next on the block.
Right?
Jon Bell moves to left back.
It's not always our favorite players, but it's our best players. And we understood the Fagundes trade, right? Going into the rebuild, the salary and all of that. And we understood Seba. You don't want to be here? Okay. And we got more money than I think any of us thought we would. But if this is true, if this in this form is true, I don't like it. In strict secrecy?
Also, I just also don't understand why you would have to take a loss on him. He didn't set the world on fire when he came over here. 27 years old.
But he's the fucking man. He's going to kill for you in the Polish league.
We know the pedigree he had, where he came from with Red Star and everything like that. Good Lord, man. And
hey, Mackie in here. Sorry, he said Buka move showing on transfer feed website as a rumor. Which it should, man. And then there's Hudson. Good to see. There's our Polish expert in here. Say highly reliable source as your local Polish expert.
Schlosser gang.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
Dude. Okay.
Hey, look who's in here. Sorry, I keep interrupting you with our friends.
Hey,
good to see Capricia in here. Not yet a done deal, but like this, I mean, it's been 15 minutes. Like it feels like a matter of 1 to 2 days at most is what it says to finalize the details here for us. And this was posted, today is the 16th, 12:57, so less than an hour ago, about 45 minutes ago.
Dude. And okay, so like I understand that, yes, we're hearing some positive sentiment about like, yes, well, we can grade this or look at this after XYZ happens, right? But to be on the other side of that, because again, no guarantee here, are we a small market club? Yes. Did we just throw a shit ton of money last season? Yes. Did we just take a loss on another fucking DP? Yes. Does that do all of those things potentially signal, oh yeah, we're going to go out and spend a shit ton more money on this? And again, we like, I keep saying fucking again. The Mirtu and BV thing, it was a, and again, I did.
What?
It was a short sample size. I almost said
Yeah.
again.
Okay,
it was a short sample size, and I didn't want to judge it based on that short sample size and come to a full-blown conclusion. But it didn't look good. It didn't look good with those two guys out there. Neither of them are distributors. So we're going to have two dudes up front competing for one ball, and we don't have that center attacking mid, that distributor, that 10 in place right now to get them said ball. When we just had the guy who was getting them the ball routinely the most.
Yeah, it was him and Owen.
All kinds of chances off that right wing.
Yeah. And you played Osman on the wrong fucking side for a third of the season.
Played him on the wrong. And I said that might have damaged the relationship a little bit because he was frustrated as shit. Asking him to track back and play defense routinely and double team LAFC wingers.
Yeah, shit. Chingiz Under.
Yeah, going double team Under, man. Oh, this sucks. And like, yeah, he was not my favorite. I'm definitely coming from a bit of a biased standpoint.
Look, I love a good. We get a hoops reference here in the North End from the comment section. You're gonna show it. If you sell Buka and bring in Anthony Davis, you fire Nico. Shit, we have a Nico. God damn it!
Got all kinds of Nikos.
Too much basketball crossover.
I don't like it, man. All right. I
don't either. But we gotta wait.
I'll reserve judgment and see. Yeah. I also don't. You know what I mean? I don't want a 35-year-old DP coming over here. Like De Bruyne got brought up. I know he's not available. I don't want a 35-year-old DP coming over here. I don't.
What if he's Lionel Messi?
Or the next too?
Who's the number 2? I don't know who the next one is. Ronaldo's in Saudi. Yeah, but I don't know who the next available guy would possibly be.
I don't either.
I want to go back to the to what you're talking about with like the what was it, 19 games or less, because Mirtu didn't debut till end of Portland. The end of the Portland loss, second game of the season, missed at least 2 of those first 19 with international duty as well. So 15 games of those guys together in the league. Dude, before this is what I was looking at yesterday. I was getting on Brandon in our kind of postseason evaluations for how poorly he finished last year, right? Like playing 19 games, I think he was like 3rd in missed XG last year. Dude, he was on pace for like 20 XG. The only person who had more than his 10.3 in his 19 games was Seba, who had 16. He was on pace to blow Seba's 16 XG out of the water. Like 18, 19. Which is crazy. So, like, I think Brandon Vasquez, as the season went along, if he didn't get injured, I think we would have seen a lot more out of him.
Agreed.
Maybe I'm just, again, huffing the hopium that our guy would regress to the fucking mean there.
Agreed.
Or positively regress, whatever. But there's no question that when BV was in, Mirtu wasn't working.
Yeah.
And when he went out, he had flashes. But again, like, the confidence was one thing, and then he still wasn't great. And again, not all of that is on those two guys because we didn't have a lot of options, like you mentioned, to get them the ball. But it's and I've been on this since the LAFC penalty miss, that it should be over, in my opinion, for Mirtu here in Austin, because I just don't think you get it back. I don't think you get the mentality back, not just for Mirtu. I don't necessarily have a worry about a guy who's that confident in his life to this point that that's all of a sudden going to go out the window. But the first time he misses a sitter next year,
Oh, yeah.
20,738 of us are going to go, here we go again.
Pitchforks, for sure.
And rightfully so. He was bad.
And especially to see the way it progressed from how he came in and how hot and amped up he was and about all of this, to see the completely muted celebrations and responses to things going on. And like, I get that because it's one thing to talk, you got to walk it too. And like, he was talking all kinds of spice, but we weren't seeing it out there on the field. And having those two guys, man, Mirtu was an afterthought for most of those 14, 15 games we had with BV. He really was. Like, he wasn't involved in the offense. We were talking about early in the season, we got to find ways to get him the fucking ball because he wasn't even involved in that offense. We saw, the connection between Dessler and Buka and how sexy that was all the time. And just like the way that it looked on that side of the field and how far away from that the left side of the field looked until Owen was randomly shifted over there.
Well, and even Dessler Buka was fucked because we didn't have him on the same side for like 3 or 4 games before Dessler got hurt. That's another thing about Mikel is like, guys got to stay fucking healthy for us.
Got to stay healthy. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy. I don't think you're ever going to get 34.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Games out of him. It just doesn't look like it's in the cards. All these soft tissue things that pop up with him, I just don't think that's in the cards. But this fucking sucks, man.
Yeah.
And I didn't think this was coming. We talked about it very, very briefly, and I was like, I would be super pissed if we moved on from Buka. I also thought he was the least likely to be moved on from.
Yeah.
And I knew that the value of BV, you're not selling a dude for cost who's coming off an ACL tear, isn't even playing yet. You're not, the market just isn't there.
And he's just domestic DP so fucking valuable.
Very valuable.
So I want to check in on the chat here. Mike, I did see, scroll up here. I did see Brian pop into the chat. So we've got both Pirates in here. And Mike was saying, do you think this is a head coach decision? I don't think anything is explicitly a head coach decision when it comes to player personnel. I think it's in tandem with the front office staff. Roto and his guys talking. Those guys are however many whiteboards they got that are filled up in the front offices right now. Those guys are talking for hours a day. And Roto's talked about before, right? His day starts at like 1 a.m. or some shit like that. Like, I do not think this is explicitly a Roto decision or explicitly a head coach decision. And again, you also, like we talked about, you're also factoring the players' wishes in there. If Buka doesn't want to come back, what are you to do? Right?
Hold him to his contract, man. You know what I mean? We can't just fucking sell everyone if they're not over the moon about being here in Austin. Like, yeah,
but there's plenty of time to find the solution, right? You don't want to be the team that holds the guy hostage. We don't want to be that.
Is it really being held hostage? You know what I mean?
If he wants to leave, it's different, man. It's not like, it's not like Derek Fisher signed with Utah and now he wants to go play for the Lakers, so he holds out until he gets his way, right? Like, we're talking about
I'm not talking
around the globe.
For sure. I'm not saying it's a 1-to-1 comparison, but like every time someone
Derek
has
Fisher.
Fuck Derek Fisher. But every one time, someone's not feeling great about this. And I think of all the people who had some potential justification to feel really shitty about stuff, Buka was up there. Because again, you had the boneheaded decision to try to run him on the left wing for no goddamn reason when he's barely got a left foot. Yeah. And then he's not getting the distribution that a player of his caliber deserves to get, the opportunities that he deserves to have. But he never
has there been anybody on the Austin FC roster playing on that left side that is, or on either side, that is more one-footed outside of Kolmanich, right? Like putting Book on that other side, he couldn't go to the end line. Almost said he couldn't drive baseline. Like, you never saw it in those games that he was out there.
I don't think I ever saw him take a shot with his left foot, to be honest.
I'm sure there's a couple out there, but not any that I remember. I remember more header attempts from the little guy. more than anything that he did with his left, outside, a little tiki-taka in between guys, Ben's bringing up this is a good point, and this piques my interest because he says, if we get a well-respected 10 like Christian Espinoza, what do national pundits think of Austin FC next year? My first comment would be, I don't think he really profiles as a true 10. Espinoza is more of that right wing, but that is a replacement that I could get on board with. serving those crosses in from the right side and on corners and set pieces. Him and Kai Wagner probably the best in the league. Maybe I'm forgetting a player or two. But the other thing about Christian Espinoza, domestic. And 2 domestic DPs is great roster building. Again, as long as those guys come through and perform on the field. But that's a way to open up an international roster slot, is getting another domestic DP in here.
Well, or you could get rid of Hot Air Obrian who's taking up an international slot.
Yeah, well, we can do both.
Buka. I mean, from everything I've seen, it looks like Espinosa's going back to San Jose, right? Like
I saw a rumor the other day, and it was like Reddit. And I don't know if I even read the whole full blurb through, but it was like speculating LAFC. Who has an open DP slot. And can you imagine that motherfucker on the right serving the best crosses in the league and to just Buanga and Son crashing from the left and centrally.
Great.
With David Martinez backing up Christian Espinoza on the right.
Great. Yeah, that'd be
terrorists.
Sweet. That'd be sweet. That's funny enough. I got the LAFC game pulled up in here because I wanted to see who we were playing on the right when we were experimenting with this Buka on the left, and it was Wolf and Johnny on that side. Obviously, Dessa was out, but
he had just got hurt, right?
Yeah, Wolf was floating much more towards the middle, I believe, in that matchup.
See, Mike says, if a 35-year-old DP makes us win, I don't give a fuck if he's actual bones standing there. And I agree, dude.
Just give me a name.
I just want to win.
Give me a name. Show me. Tell me.
Right. Well, look.
Someone give me a 35-year-old guy who's going to push us over the top here. I'll take. I will also take it. I will also take it.
Tim says, I really doubt it's Nico, talking about Estevez, of course. I'm guessing it's we want volunteers, not hostages type of deal. And then Tim puts in his own reckless speculation protection there. So look,
legally protected.
Yeah, you got to be responsible here.
Go commit crime now, Tim, if you want. I'm about to.
B said Rose is laughing at how many times we've said fuck in the last 15 minutes. And look, I'm sorry. You might hear something. When you tune into the live stream here in the North End, TJ in here saying, not a family road trip podcast, sickos. Only Mr. Mighty Frog. I don't think we've seen the Mighty Frog in here yet. Says the only way it makes sense is if there's another move coming requiring cash and DP space. Azuni and Vasquez might be unmovable currently. Not going to help sell those season tickets. Yeah, dude, I did notice that, again, 123 now sold out. And also for the pre-sale, I was looking to maybe pick up some tickets for some of our friends who are coming in town next year. Nothing available. So look, the people flocking to 123 as they leave some seats open in the other sections, I guess there. P Mike wants me to get it off the screen. I just got a message from Logan O'Qua, said fuck. So Logan adding to the F-bombs here in the North End. Yeah, man, I mean, if you move him, right, it's DP slot open and international slot open. And you can do a lot with that. Just not happy about it as things stand now. Before we hear the name, we're not going to be happy about it.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to have to wait on that, right? Because, I mean, again, we're assuming this is going to be an international signing.
Steph goes, wait. What if they're doing this so we can buy back Julio?
Oh, there we go.
Six at the back. Yeah, 9s and center backs only. Ari saying, worst green smoke live stream ever. 110 would not recommend. Yeah, I mean, I think probably it turned into an okay live stream. It's just that we're not happy.
Oh my God, this
goodness.
Is bullshit.
If we keep taking these transfer losses, it's going to be $75 beers and $150 t-shirts. Look, that's not too far off from where we're at already. So,
oh man, well, this was not good for morale. That's for sure. Poor Jon Bell.
Mighty Frog is in 123.
Oh shit,
dude, we got to meet the Mighty Frog next year.
Expose yourself.
Awesome. Hey, and Jackson in here, your birthday buddy. Sorry about the sucking. Do you see Jackson said he's got you by a year? He's 29.
He did, old bastard. Happy belated, bro. And interesting enough, you had the Buka profile pulled up. He was the 13th.
Oh, yeah?
Missed him by a day. Could have been birthday bros with him as well.
There you go. Well, hopefully we're not selling you or Jackson anytime soon. Hudson in here agrees with the Mighty Frog, saying if you have a great opportunity in the works and need the space, then Osman might be the only guy that you can sell because of what Azuni is, potentially worth after his dismal season here in Austin, and then BV's injury. You just can't move BV coming off an ACL. It's not going to happen.
Can't move BV.
And I don't want to.
Can't move him. Yes, I've had my reaction to this. I will have my reaction to a potential replacement. I'll have that as well, and we'll go from there. And then I'll bitch and complain in the regular season when we're not undefeated.
This is the Mighty Frog says top row aisle seat. We fist bump. So that's either like I'm super angry, I'm super happy, or I really got to pee. Those are my thoughts coming up the stairs at halftime. And Tim saying Robin Lod, right? Robin Lod is one of the names we brought up in our free agency primer. Last report that he's still negotiating with Minnesota for a potential return there. But that was one of the TAM targets we had on our free agency primer.
I mean, I hope those two things aren't related. I'd love
I agree.
But I don't hope that these two things are related for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, but huge news. I guess, again, I think we're probably starting to get there's Logan coming into the chat here. We did mention your DM to me a moment ago, Logan. We read it out on air. We miss you too, bud. Dude, also, I won't say that. We'll keep that private. Let's close this out, I think, maybe with, and Logan, now that you're in here, maybe I would love to hear your thoughts in the live chat about this move. We just talked about it for the last 15-20 minutes here with everybody tuned in, but we always value Logan's sicko opinion there. The last couple things I wanted to say on Jon Bell, dude, this very, very silly cosmetic here. I was thinking about jersey numbers, of course, over the last 10 days. He wore 23 at UMBC and then with the Revs and St. Louis. That's, of course, Kolmanich's number. He wore 15 with Seattle last year. I believe 15 is still unavailable. I think that was last worn by Leo Väisänen. So maybe your new number 15 here in Jon Bell. And, we kind of pivoted right from the theory about him ending up on the supplemental roster into the Buka talk. But no matter what happens with Jon Bell's roster designation, senior or supplemental, I think it's a fair conclusion that I've drawn from being a fan of this league for 5 years, that it is always smart. It's always wise to sign cheap domestic defenders that are MLS level. And I think Jon Bell is that. So even if he's on the senior slot, again, I said earlier, I would give it a C. And if he's on supplemental, B+, A- range. But again, I am very optimistic for this signing, and even more optimistic that he's going to end up as a supplemental player once the February roster profiles roll around. Anything else for you on Jon Bell?
11's open.
Yeah, fuck. Don't say that.
If he wants that, he can
it's
have
not
that.
Yet. Not yet. Maybe Hot Air goes back since he'll be around, I bet.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll make me even more excited.
Yeah, B says, give me Espinoza behind Mirtu and BV. And I think, and I did kind of poo-poo Ben calling him a 10 earlier. I do think he's played behind, technically, right? If you're lining it up on FOTMob, right, with your formation, I think technically he's lined up behind, Chicho and Joseph Martinez last year. I do think once Hernan Lopez moved out of there last year that you did get some Espinoza more centrally. So Brian jogging my memory there and circling back to what Ben said, I think he may be onto something there in terms of the abilities of the player. Profe says, is it time to panic yet? No, but I think it's time to expect even more Green Smoke live streams this offseason than we originally had planned. And going back to a point I've been making a lot of places the last couple days, anything can happen, and more shit is going to happen this offseason than you expect coming into it, and that's how it almost always goes. And here we are. It's not always good all the time, but like I was just saying the other day to you, right, where we were sitting a couple days ago when we recorded Sunday's episode, on last year's calendar, we were still 3 weeks away from hearing any credible rumors about Driussi being moved on. Anything can still happen in this offseason. And, but again, clearly this is a huge wrench into how we thought it would play out, and certainly what we wanted.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, the Mighty Frog saying, no worries, usually anger coming up those stairs. Yeah, especially the last couple seasons. Logan says, Buka. Logan hates it, makes him sad. Jon Bell, if we buy him down to supplemental, 10 out of 10. So me and Logan, little mind meld there. Steph says, bring back Rodney, a real 11.
Oh, boy.
Year-old angel child in parentheses. Yeah, and then, per his, this is the Reddit post I saw the other day. Mike says, Espinoza going to LAFC per his neighbor because their wives are friends. And Trevor saying, to be honest, reliable sources in MLS. And like, only half joking. Like, there is some truth to that. So I think we can wind it down here, man. I know we were aiming for 30 minutes. I think we were right on point there with the Bell stuff wrapping up, and then smacked upside the head by this Buka rumor. So of course we will cover all in that and more as it unfolds. Regularly scheduled episode this weekend, potential live stream, right? Super draft on Thursday. So if we get any sort of significant trade up or trade out, we'll consider the live stream. And 1 to 2 days on that tweet, right? So potential Buka out live stream later this week. So you keep the notification bell on, right? If you're catching us here on the live feed or you're watching it on the replay, hit the thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow the show here. Big things coming over the next 2 weeks in the North End here, E. So everybody can stay tuned here. You hit that notification bell on your way out. E, is there anything else you want to add before we shut it down?
No.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. Whether you caught us live here on YouTube or you're listening to the audio replay or watching the replay on YouTube, we're back on Sunday with our regularly scheduled episode. Try to enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. We'll do the same. We'll see you back here on Sunday for another episode. Until then, he's E, and I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.
Green smoke, green smoke. Oh boy, who could it be? Maybe you 22 or a new DP. The fans await, the excitement grows. Can't wait to see who Roto shows. Green smoke. Oh boy, who could it be? Maybe you 22 or a new DP. The fans await, the excitement grows. Can't wait to see who Roto shows. Green smoke. Oh boy, who could it be? Maybe a U22 or a new DP. The fans await, the excitement grows. Can't wait to see who Roto chose.